Hey America, my name is Raymond Teague. I paint addresses on the curbs. Y'all probably, a lot of y'all know me. I come by y'all's house with this book, painting addresses on curbs. First off, I want to let y'all know that since 2005, I've been doing all my logos free for police officers. Or since 2004, I've been doing a Maltese cross free for firefighters since 2005, and a paramedic. The EMT logo free for paramedics since 2007. On January 31st of 2011, my dog here, y'all see my dog, if anybody out there seen him, call me. I'll let y'all know my number and my email address before the end of this video. Alright, anyway, my dog was stolen and put in this car right here. This car was off the Walmart camera. This is a picture of her car. Her name is, this car is registered to a Wilma Merino. Wilma Merino at 9710 Jeske Road in Needville, Texas. So I went to this house and showed her a picture of my dog and asked her if she had seen my dog, if she knew what my dog was. She said she ain't never seen my dog. But it was put in her car, and her car was in the driveway. So she slams the door on me and says she was calling the police. I said, you ain't got to worry about it. I'll call them. She called the Needville police, and I called the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Department. Well, the officers that showed up, a Needville officer is Antonio Rendon. He showed up about, I don't know, probably a minute or so before Robert Hartfield of the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Department shows up. I tell them my story and hand them a picture of my dog, and they go up to the lady's door, knock on the door. She answers, and they made me wait at the end of the driveway, but I could still hear her. And I'll take a polygraph to everything here, and this is why I want on your show, Dr. Phil. Please have me on your show. I've got a lot to talk about, a lot of polygraphing, but I also have a criminal polygraph I want to take. I was run over while painting an address on a curb, and it was intentional. And I can prove all this with a polygraph. So anyway, so Robert Hartfield and Antonio Rendon go to this lady's door and say, and when she opens the door, the first thing she says is, I have a relative in law enforcement. And that's all they needed to hear. They came right down to the end of the driveway, and Robert Hartfield points back like this and said, she's got a relative in law enforcement. I told him I don't care if she's got a relative that's president of the United States. She took my dog and put it in that car. Well, they made me leave. So, a few days later, I went ahead and went and filed on her. And a week after I filed on her, exactly 1 week after I filed on her, I was coming home from work one night, and there was a Sergeant Jonathan Rutledge of the Austin County Sheriff's Department is driving up and down 36 in downtown Wallace. I was living in Wallace, Texas at the time. Well, as soon as he seen me, he made a U and come after me. Pulled me over, and then the two Wallace cops, they came from the directions of the only two other directions you can get into my neighborhood. So it was obvious they were cutting off the other directions to my neighborhood, where I wasn't getting home without passing one of them. So he pulls me over, takes me to jail, arrests me for driving with an invalid driver's license. And so I called, after this incident happened, I called Austin County Sheriff's Department and asked for his name, the arresting officer's name. And the lady that answered the phone wouldn't even give me his name. She didn't give me the name at all. She said, this is exactly what she said. Oh, he's been transferred, sir. He's been transferred. Never gave him his name. And the two Wallace cops, who I'd seen, one of them lived, you could see his car from my parked in the driveway from where I lived. He was there for probably a year and a half or so. He was a cop there in town. I never seen him again. Or the other officer, and I'd seen him two to 5 times a week. And it was about 2 or 3 weeks later, 2 new cops were in town. And they pulled me over for no reason. Said I was running a stop sign, but I didn't run the stop sign. And the first thing he asked me when he comes up to me is, have you ever been arrested? And then when they find out who I am, they didn't mess with me. They let me go. And that's because I know who told them other cops not to mess with me, and that's why they were transferred or fired. I don't know what happened to the Wallace Counts, but I know Jonathan Rutledge was transferred, and now they're trying to say he wasn't, that he just left. This is why I need a lawyer. I just filed a suit against the city of Angleton. Y'all going to find out why here in a minute. And I can't find a lawyer that'll help me. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Anyway, I was run over on December 9th of 2015 by an older gentleman by the name of, see if I can find his name here. Well, we'll come back to that. His last name is, Lewis Warford is his name. Lewis Warford was one who ran me over, and it was intentional. Now, here's a picture of my pelvis and my lumbar. My pelvis is attached to my lumbar with a plate and 3 bolts. The bottom of my pelvis ring is a plate and 8 screws. Crushed my pelvis, broke 5 vertebrae, 5 ribs in multiple places, and busted my spleen. Okay, so I went and filed charges. Well, I filed against the city on December 9th. December 7th. Because you have to do it within 2 years. Today's February 11th. So it's been over 2 months and I still don't have a lawyer or a private investigator, and I need all that. So I'm asking for help. But first off, I want to prove who I am and what I'm about. Because they're spreading rumors around that I'm a low-life bum. I was convicted of a burglary rehabilitation in 95 rather, in 2000, well actually 92. I spent all of 95 and most of 96 locked up for it, for a crime I didn't commit. And I will pass that on a polygraph. It was a burglary rehabilitation, and the people that were burglarizing the place I didn't know were burglarizing the place. I was told they wanted me to stop by at one of their friends' house and pick up a TV to go sell for him. That's exactly what I was told. And when we pulled up there, the glass door was shut and the front door was wide open, all the lights were on. I didn't know that prior to that, they'd already went in and kicked in the door. So I got busted for burglary rehabilitation. Now, I divorced in 1990, and me and my wife divorced in 1990, and it shows that I owe $30,000 back child support, but I don't. When I got out from being incarcerated, me and my ex-wife got together less than a year after I got out of incarceration. We were together for about another year. And I gave her money directly. Whenever I had money she needed it, she got it. So, and she even offered over 12 years ago to go sign this back child support off me. I told her, don't worry about it. It's just, they're not, as long as she ain't filing on me, then, or anything like that, then I'm not worried about my credit. I'm a cash and carry guy. I don't care about credit. So I told her not to worry about it. So I hired Jim Adler to handle my case for me against his insurance company. And I told everybody at the hospital, even from the time I got to the hospital to all along, I told them that this man ran me over on purpose. Now, evidence was withheld, and I was robbed. And my T-shirt, they didn't. I guess they messed up when I guess the paramedic threw my T-shirt in the truck. Because here on the police report it shows that there's some witness that came up to me and said I needed to get out of the street, that I was wearing dark clothing and I'm hard to see and I need to get out of the street. Nobody came up and said anything to me, and I was wearing a white shirt, and I'm about to show it to y'all here in a minute. Now, these videos are in 15-minute increments because that's the way YouTube does it. So there's going to be several parts here. I want y'all to go to Justice for Raymond Part 2 after this, and Part 3 and 4 and so on. I'm only going to make some of them today. I don't have time to do them all. I'll be back later on this week. I'll be back over here in Lake Jackson where I'm at now, where another attempt at running me over and taking my life was made in December of 2016, which is why I believe what I believe, and I'll tell y'all here that. I'll get to that in a minute. So when I got out of the hospital, I started putting 2 and 2 together when I read the police report and And what all was said in at deposition. After deposition, I knew something wasn't right. So I figured the police were involved in it because I've been nothing but harassed by cops everywhere I go ever since 2011. And they've cost me over $7,000. They arrested me for driving with an invalid driver's license and towing my vehicle. Now, whenever I have somebody with me and they can't tow my vehicle, they just give me a ticket. But if I'm by myself, they arrest me so they can tow the car. Now, on September 30th of 2016, or 2015, 2015, I went into the police department to get another copy of the police report because my lawyer, for some reason, doesn't want to give me the copy of the police report back. So I went and got another copy, and I asked to speak with a detective. And they said, hold on a minute. And after about 5 minutes, Sergeant Harold Vandergift comes out and says, I'm as high as you're going to get today. So me and him go back in a little office, and I tell him, I believe a police officer asked that old man to run me over on purpose. And he looks at me and says, sue, man, just sue. So I knew something was wrong there. So I got up and I said, well, I don't know who that relative is that's in law enforcement, that lady that stole my dog, but I'm going to find out. And that made him mad. He was right on my heels as I was walking out the door. So I walk out the door and I go across the street and I punch in the address on the police report for the old man that ran me over to see where he lives, because I knew he was going to live on the north side of Cannon. I had a feeling he would live on the north side of Cannon or Cannon, or same street where the police station was at. This happened right by the police station. So he says, and on his police report, and I'll read that in the second part, but all the lies he says at deposition. So I go and find out his house is right where I figured it to be, on the north side of Cannon Street. But I witnessed him coming, turning left on the Cannon off of North Tinsley. Well, he says he turned right on the Cannon coming from his house going to the post office. I'll read that on the next chapter. Right now, I'll tell you, I went up to 5 months after my dog was stolen, I went up to Walmart and told the cameraman, James Johnson, that I would need the footage for court of the lady putting the dog in her car. He says, they ain't got the footage no more. And I said, well, you told me that y'all keep the footage for 6 months. And he says, no, I didn't. And he knew I was going to go to the manager, so then he admitted to me that the police department, Richmond Police Department, came and got it. They got the video. So then I went and talked to the store manager, David Azumaka. This is the Walmart in Richmond, Texas, by the way. And he's the one who told me, yes, we do keep our footage for about 6 months. And I told him what James Johnson had told me. I don't know if anything was done about it, but there's a people greeter. His name was Manuel Torres. He swore up and down he could 100% sure he could pick the lady out of a lineup. So I was going to take it to court and use him to pick her out of a lineup. And but before the trial came, he died. And according to somebody, one of the people who worked at Walmart told me that he died mysteriously. It was kind of mysterious, so kind of funny there. But we're almost at 14 minutes, so y'all go to part 2 and we'll pick back up. And we'll talk about Roderick Taylor, who pulled me over in 2010. October 21st of 2010. This is a little over 2 months before my dog was stolen. This is when my problems really started. So y'all go to part 2, and we'll get started on this. Oh, well, let me show you on my shirt first real quick, because we still got less than another minute. Here's my shirt. That's the back of my shirt. You can easily see the tire was turned in towards me. This guy was he looked into my eyes and was going around me. And we'll talk about that on part 2. Y'all go to part 2. All right, cut it down, RJ.